Hi, I'm the Rogue Reviewer. I've just come back from the cinema. So tonight was the secret screening with Cineworld, and it was a horror from A24 called Undertone. So I'm just going to give you my thoughts of the film and my overall score. So here we go. So the film stars Nina Kerry, who plays Evie, and Adam DiMarco, who plays Justin. So they're a podcast team that investigates spooky paranormal stories. So Evie tries to debunk the stories, trying to say how if they're true or false, but she's basically a non-believer. However, Evie's mum is dying at home, and she's looking after her while she's sort of doing this podcast that she's recording online with Justin's character. However, Justin gets sent mysteriously by email these 10 recordings of a true life horror case, and he decides to do the podcast based around these 10 recordings. However, as they go through these recordings one by one, um, Evie starts descending into kind of madness and starts hearing spooky things that are happening around the house, and she's starting to get really affected. Also, Justin is also getting affected by these stories and doesn't want to keep going through these recordings, so they're slowly going through them one by one and breaking it up into two podcast episodes. However, as the sort of they go through each recording, the kind of gets worse and worse, the environment that Evie's living in the house. However, I don't want to give too much away, so okay, so I have to say this was one of the scariest films I've seen in the cinema for a long time. This was obviously a paranormal, demonic, terrifying, horrific experience to watch in the cinema. This film is definitely not for the faint-hearted. Um, it's a very slow build up to kind of the main event, but it really is a spine chilling feeling you're getting the whole way through the film. The actress Nina Kiri is really good in the role. She kind of underplays everything that's going on in the house until kind of the end, where she just kind of descends into pure chaos, and the house is so creepy, especially as obviously the mother's dying upstairs as well. So she's kind of dealing with that as well as dealing with these terrifying podcast recordings that she's trying to explore with her partner Justin. But it's a horrifically tense film to watch from start to finish. I've said it's kind of a simple kind of setting. It's just basically set in a house. They're doing a podcast uh, online with Justin, but there's so many creepy atmospheric noises happening. You're just waiting for something to jump out for the next thing to scare you, and you're just constantly on the edge of your seat, not knowing what's going to happen next. This is definitely one of the scariest films I've seen for a long time. I watched a few films last year, and nothing compared to this horror. If you're a horror fan, I would say go watch it. The rating was 15. I'm surprised. I found it really scary, to be honest. I do like horror films, but even this pushed my boundaries of a horror film to watch in the cinema. The audience I could see around me were all exactly the same. They were all literally on the edge of their seats as well. And with the film, it's not really what they're showing, it's more the kind of atmospheric noises and the subtle hints of something that could be there. And it's a really slow, horrible, scary build up to kind of the ending. And it really leaves a chilling feeling inside as it's going through the film. Okay, so on to my score. Although this is one of the scariest films I've seen, it does feel quite long at points, and just it does linger on a little bit too much. But overall, I'd probably give this a 7.7 out of 10. If you're a horror fan, this is definitely one to watch in the cinema. If you're not a horror fan, or if you get scared by horror films, I would. This is definitely not one for you. But yeah, if you like horror films, go watch this in the cinema. It'd be really interesting to hear the thoughts on when this one comes out, and what people feel about this. So last year I watched Bring Her Back, which terrified me, which I found a really scary, horrific psychological film to watch. I think this might even beat that film as a terrifying film to watch in the cinema. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you like my content, please like, subscribe, and follow, and I'll see you on the next one.